Here we go, Pastor Ernest.
Yes, sir.
Germany, here we come.
Yes. Whenever you hear God is looking for a man, he is talking about men who have formed their personalities, men who have made their choice.
Now, when we talk about form their personalities, we are talking about develop their personalities. So whenever you hear of God looking for a man, he's not just looking for a human being. I mean, we have a lot of those. How many billions did you say? 7? So God is not looking for those. But out of those 7 billion people, he's looking for those of them who have taken time to develop their character traits and to develop the character traits of God in themselves. Those who have taken time to develop the heart of God in themselves. Those who have taken the time to cultivate the nature of God in themselves. When God says he's looking for a man, that is what he's talking about. Because a lot of people might be human beings who are be successful, but who have not taken the time to bring the heart of God and make it their own hearts. And they have not taken time to make the nature of God their own nature. God is not looking for those. Those are still a form of biomass. But the ones God is looking for, when he says he's looking for a man, he's looking for those who have imbibed the nature of God in themselves. So sometimes we think God is looking for religious people. But like I told the story in the beginning, when I went to that meeting with all those personalities all over the world, I saw the difference that these ones are the ones God is looking for. These people are more recognized in heaven. People like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, all those people, they have more weight before God, in God's eyes, than the ones who are doing religion. You see, God is not looking for people who just have religious practices or religious liturgy. But God is looking for people who have his heart. He is looking if he's going to see himself in you. God is looking for people in whom he can see himself, his own reflection, who carry his heart, and who will act and behave like him. Those are the men God is looking for. So whenever you hear God is looking for a man, he's talking about men who have formed their personalities, who have developed the personalities of God, making them personality as a result of that effort. Yes, please.
Men who have made their choice.
Is the light okay? Okay.
Men who have burnt the bridge. Men who have decided not to look back. Men who have decided to leave their footprint on the sand of history.
You have to read that.
Men who have decided to leave their footprint on the sand of history. Men who have chosen to forego comfort for the larger good of others. Men whom others emulate. Men who live as an exemplary life.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Next. Next.
Devushka.
Mere mortal. Basis here. Mere mortal.
These are qualities of mere mortals.
Mere mortal base their decision.
A mere mortal basis is
decisions mainly on how he feels at the particular time.
Okay. So if you are a person that lives by instinct or impulse, just what you feel at a particular time, you don't have a long-ranging plan of purpose or guidance, which is value that is guiding your action and reaction. Only you just respond to what is happening right now. That is what is called biomasses or mere mortals. Okay.
Take it again. A mere mortal bases his decisions mainly on how he feels at the particular time. A mere mortal.
So what is the option of that? What is the alternative to that? The alternative to that is that you have some set of value systems that always inform how you behave. So, for example, let's say love is a value system. That's the nature of God. And because I'm his copy, I'm his image, I'm made in his image, and I'm determined to live like him. So I love all the time. So it doesn't really matter what is happening. My decisions are not based on what I'm feeling at the particular time. My decisions and my decision to love is not being based on what you do to me or against me. So I am living by love all the time because I have a long-ranging goal of pleasing him, emulating him, being like him. That's just who I am all the time. It doesn't matter. People are liking you, they are hating you, I'm loving all the time. But for biomasses, for mere mortals, they base their decision to love or not to love on what is happening. They don't have a long-ranging value system that is guiding their actions and behavior and their lifestyle. But it's not just love, it's kindness, it's forgiveness, it's other things, it's being a carrier of justice, righteousness, and equity, and all that. Truth is doing what is right at all times. Is being responsible. Is seeing problems. Is responding to problems. Is developing others. Not looking for things. So it doesn't really matter. So when in my country, people say, "Well, Pastor, the economy is bad. It is the economy. It is the economy." They don't get it. Biomasses, we will still understand. They say, "Okay, the economy is bad, so you can cheat. The economy is bad, so you can, you can deceive, you can steal, you can be deceptive, you can because you want to survive because the economy." That's because you have not formed. You don't live by a higher value system. You don't live by a higher goal. But when you live by a higher goal, it's not about what is happening. Economy bad or worse. You are living by a higher constitution. That's what we call value system. So your value system informs how you behave, what you do at any given time, not minding what is going on. But mere mortals base their decisions. Can you imagine that there are Christians that don't talk to their relatives or to their mother or to their family members? Why? Because he hurt me. He did something against me. So, but they don't have a higher value system that informs them that no, my nature is God. That's why God said, you've heard that you should hate your enemy. Or you should do it. But I'm telling you, if you want to be sons of your Father in heaven, love your enemy. So you will always love. Because that is a higher value system. Those are the things we call value system. But that's how you become personality. Because his nature, you have decided to inculcate his nature into you and to live by his standard rather than how you feel. That is what personalities are. Basis is decisions on. So, for example, let's say somebody comes and hurt me. Okay? Or do something bad. I might act according to the law, put him in jail or in prison for him to change, but my attitude towards him still remains that of love. I want you to get that right. So yeah, I still do what I need to do, but I still love the person. For example, I have a friend. Let's say I have a friend. He stole my money. He stole my money maybe the first time, and then they say, "Oh, forgive." And I say, "I forgive." And then somebody say, "Oh, if you forgive, you make him your partner in the next project." No, I won't, because I'm not stupid. So then somebody will say, "But you are a Christian." But I still love him. I'm still loving him, and I still care for him. Even when I don't put him in my next project, that is an act of love. I'm protecting him. But in some people, so when Jesus is talking about Matthew chapter 5, when he's saying somebody slaps you, give the next something, he's not talking about physical action only. He's saying physical action shouldn't determine your heart's condition, your condition of the heart. So if somebody slaps you, for you, the most message is teaching there is that don't hate the person back. Don't allow his action to affect the disposition of your heart. So if you would rather hate him back, or do evil to him, then rather give him the other one. So the thing is it's not talking about physical things. It's talking about all the things. That's why I say, blessed are those who are poor, blessed are those who mourn. These are talking about the condition of the heart. So if somebody comes and slaps you, you might need to stop him and even arrest him and put handcuffs in his hand, or even knock him out. But your heart must still be a heart of love for him. So how can you love somebody when you have knocked them out? You don't have hatred. You don't have anger. You don't have bitterness. You don't have resentment. So even though he's knocked out, but you are the one still who pours water on him and resurrects him and see up him. So if he has committed burglary and he has broken into your house, and you say, I forgive him, so let him go, then you are evil. That's not forgiveness. Because by him breaking into your house and you say police should let him go, you are empowering him to break into a house. By letting him go, you are a partner in that sin by letting him go to go and commit the same thing against her. I don't know if you get it. But what God is saying is that if he commits burglary, let the law take its course. Take him, arrest him, put him there for 10 years, but in the meanwhile, go and love on him. And let him know that you love him as much as you would love your neighbor or your family member or your son. You love him. You even come to bring some gift to him in the prison. Or you even come to pay for some of his expenses. Your heart is still tender towards him. That is talking about the condition of the heart. So why then am I incarcerating him still? Why am I keeping him in that prison? Because I need to protect him from committing similar offense that will result in a worse consequence for him. And then I also need to protect other victims, potential victims, like I have been. So I don't know if you people are getting it. So this is another aspect of Christ's teaching that people don't seem to know. All those teachings are concerning our state of the heart. That we should not allow things that happen to us physically to affect our heart condition. Just like Jesus. Physically, he took the whip and went and beat people up. But it was not an act of hatred or anger or aggression. It was aggressive in the physical, but it's an act of love. He's trying to get them because they were out of the will of God. He's trying to say, no, you are right now in the wrong. He physically applied force to take them out of the wrong into the right standing before God. So you need to do what you need to do in the physical, but your state of heart must be love always. That's tough. Is it tough? It's tough. So feelings should not drive your heart. Feelings must not be put over principles. Principles must rule over your feelings. In your feelings, you might feel anyhow. But your heart must take the preeminence. Your heart must still follow what God will do. For example, Jesus, when he was being crucified and slapped and beaten and spit at, I think the feelings were horrible because he's a human being. So I think he was feeling really bad. But he was still saying, forgive them, Lord. For the known. So feeling-wise, he was crying, well, Father, why are you forsaking me? So he was really feeling bad. But he was following the dictate of the heart to still forgive them. So whatever is happening to you in the physical, let the principles of love, forgiveness, the nature of God always take preeminence. I don't know if you get it. But the place I see Christians missing it altogether is that they think that because God says to forgive and to love, that also means never seek justice or never allow the law to take its course or never respond in the natural by the demands of even nature and God himself. No, we should always remember one thing, that all these teachings that Jesus is talking about the state of your heart. That's why he says, if anybody will look at a woman and didn't sleep with her, he didn't touch her, but because of the heart, he has sinned. But he didn't touch her. So we should also always be aware that he's talking about the state of the heart. For example, he said, if anybody is taking you to the court, or you have a conflict with somebody, leave your gift, go and make peace with that person. That doesn't mean that don't go and do the sacrifice again. No. Still go and do the sacrifice, but go and do it later. Have peace. You get it? He's trying to say, put your heart right first. He doesn't say altogether stop going to church or stop the sacrifice. But if you are going to do the sacrifice when the heart is still wrong, it doesn't profit you anything. But if you go and make the heart right, then you could come back and take your something. The same thing with court. If somebody is taking you to court, go and make peace with him. Maybe if you make peace with him, there will be no need for the court. But if you don't make peace with him, then things can get really rough. So it's about internal state of your heart. That we should bear that in mind. So in the natural, the law must take its course, but our heart must be right. Because I have seen a situation whereby in Nigeria, somebody told me this is a life situation that these were many people. They came to the house. They were having a party. Can you imagine this? They were having birthday party. Somebody was 21 years old. So all the 21-year-old girls were there celebrating. You from university. So these guys, about 8 of them, came in with gun and everything, raped everybody. These are virgins, Christians who are keeping themselves to be virgins. And then when they caught them, all of them said, because they were Christians, let them go. We forgive them. They forgave them, and then one of them repented. But all the rest that they released went ahead and did the same thing again. So they went to the dormitory and raped all the girls and killed security and all that. You think it's just they who are to blame? I think all those parents and all those girls who said we signed them to be released, they have to bear responsibility. Because that's not what Jesus is saying. Jesus is not saying that don't let the law take its course. Forgive your heart if you can, but let the law take its course. I don't know if you get that. Okay, for example, in our church here, we have a lot of situations whereby some sons, rowdy sons, are drug addicts. And we tell the parents, because they are violent, because mothers, the fathers, most of those fathers, these are Europeans here, but the fathers, most of them, when their sons become unruly, and they just take off and take on the next wife. They leave the house for the woman. It's like in Proverbs. He said his bad son is always the headache of the mother, right? But the good one is the praise of the father. So when the problem is happening, the fathers just go ahead and take another woman. And then the women are always having it difficult to let the boy go, So he's on drugs, violent, selling everything in the house, beating everybody, beating the woman, just being unruly. So when they come to church, you know what we normally tell them? We tell the mothers kick him out. No, but mothers don't, I don't know of where you are coming from, but here, mothers are always finding it tough to do that. Mothers are always saying, but it's my son, I cannot kick him out. It's my son, I cannot kick him out. It's my son, I cannot kick him out. It's my son. Mothers, it's tough for mothers. But when they obey, we are telling them that kicking him out doesn't mean you don't love him anymore. You see, that's where we have to also get a balance. Kick him out as a sign of love to save him from himself and to save him from committing more horrendous crimes. So in London, okay, let me not mention the name of the church. A prayer warrior from assistant pastor woman from one of our prominent Nigerian churches decided not to kick his son out like that. Her son out, because she is a prayer warrior. She was praying. So she went to pray one night. A Yoruba lady, so loved prayer warriors, praying. So she went and spent all night in night vigil. Came back on Saturday morning from night vigil, praying and demons, binding all the demons. And then the son was there saying, "Why did you wake me up in the morning?" She came back at like 5 o'clock and he was trying to sleep. And so he just took the knife, killed that woman right there in the kitchen and just cut her into pieces. Yes, so, and because she would not kick him out. If she had kicked him out, even though it looks harsh to people, but she is coming from a religious background that she believes that Ọlọ́run á ṣe, what do you call that? That God will, Ọlọ́run á ṣe, God will do some miracles. But do the honors. So let the order of righteousness or right thing, do the right thing, but that doesn't mean you don't love, but still love him. Even if he's in the street, go and care for him with love, but let him know you have to do what is right. So loving doesn't mean keeping him in the house. Let me tell you another one. This one, I think everybody should know about this. This one happened right in the camp. There is something they call camp in Nigeria, RCCG camp. The father had a house in the camp. He's a university professor. But the son is unruly. You are supposed to kick him out. But because we are living in the camp, and they are having Holy Ghost, this, Holy Ghost, that all the time. Papa is praying, Daddy is praying, all the people are praying. Everything will be okay. You will do this. You will be successful. You will not fail. You will not, all kind of confession they give them in the church. And they are trying to tell. So they came back from also Holy Ghost, whatever, and they were telling him, "Oh, you will not fail. We have received a word from these people, from the dad. The guy just got mad. He gave the dad a dirty slap. And when he knew that, I've done something bad, he just took it and killed the father right there in the camp. The camp. Right there in the camp. God of Oyedepo or Adeboye didn't do anything, though. God of Daddy and nobody didn't do anything. Because, why was God watching? Because that doesn't mean you don't love your son. You would have supposed to have kicked him out. Don't just say because, you see, that's what I want to bring a balance to. Right there in the church. Because we don't understand the Bible. Sometimes we take the Bible too literally. Love means keep up with everything. No. And the same thing happened with husbands, my dear. Husbands too. Some husbands are supposed to be given the kick long time. Because if he's beating you, he's not treating you like a princess. You are God's princess. And if he's beating you, any man that is beating you doesn't deserve to remain in that house for 24 hours. You say, but I love him, I don't want to divorce. Keep on loving him, but love him from the distance until he comes to his senses. When he behaves, then you can manage him. But if he's unruly, if he's going to, but the Bible said, look, you don't need to divorce, but show him the doors. Love him from the distance. So it's the same thing like, so loving somebody doesn't mean that I have to be friends with them, but love them. Make sure that your heart, God knows, you know too, that you love them. But you don't have to be friends. Because the same with some family members. So, but what we do is that either we are totally angry and it's affecting us. We don't love. Then we break. But when we love, then we cannot break. But you can love and still put things in their perspective. I don't know if you are getting that balance. Yes. So, for example, if there is a family member that is always irritating you, love the person, but put some distance. But love and honor the person still. So even with your parents, even if they are your parents, that you know you are always going there, but they are always irritating you you are always losing your virtues, maybe you get angry as a result of being with them all the time. Or you have to lose your composure. That is not healthy for you. But love them and just give them the space and take the space for yourself, and rather from the distance, show that love for them. Because if you are going to be in that state of aggrievement, you are aggrieved, then if you die, then your heart is not right. Then you go to hell. But if you give the space, at least you can love them easier from the distance, you keep your heart. No, I don't know if you are getting me. But if you stay there and they will keep on stepping on you, it could get you to a place whereby you lose it. And then your heart is not, then you are wrong now before God too, because it has affected your heart. So when we are reading the Bible and Matthew, we should be thinking, we should know one principle is that it's all about the state of our heart. Your heart must be full of love, peace, righteousness, right standing with God. Love everybody. That is the kingdom of God. Maintain the kingdom in you. But in the physical, do what you need to do. You need to kick him out. Mm-hmm. Oblige yourself. The man didn't clap. You agree? A lot of mothers are suffering from this. Because they think to kick their son out means they don't love him. And they think if it's their son, they must stay with him. Or they must suffer everything he's doing. But Jesus whipped those people, I don't think out of love, out of hatred. I'm sure Jesus' heart was perfectly okay. Just like when they were beating him, he did something. Yes, he was crying, but his heart was okay. Just like when he went to see those people and he was weeping, but, he still had the power to raise him up, but he still wept. So emotion is different from what is going on in the heart. Because I got a letter, actually, let me even say, I got a letter when I was preparing before now. And this is coming from somebody that is a Ghanaian lady. Maybe she's watching us right now. I'm not going to give her name. But she didn't know me. But she said she accidentally came across Aarons, Dr. Aarons. Yeah. He does video too, you know that. So he does videos, and because of what he was talking about, this lady accidentally came across him. And what she is saying here is very close to what we've been discussing. She said, I'm a Ghanaian married to an African pastor, but many a Ghanaian lady married to an African pastor, but many see me because this is very, I want you to think about this. Many see me as a disloyal wife. I'm feeling right now that people are watching me from home. I can pick it up. And they are saying that, but what I'm going to say now, they are going to condemn me and say that I am promoting disloyalty and rebellions and evil doctrines. But I hope God will help you to understand the idea behind what I'm saying. But I can feel negative things. I'm not seeing the comments, but I can feel in the spirit. I pick it up. Indignations are coming against what I'm saying right now, strongly. But I still want you people to hear this. So they're saying, I'm a Ghanaian lady, married to an African pastor, and many have come to tag me as a disloyal, rebellious, and unruly wife. And my sin is that, follow this, because this lady wanted to say, marriage doesn't stop me from being a personality. The fact that I'm married or I'm married to a pastor, I still want to be me. That's the point she was trying to make. But she said, they tag me like this just because I have decided to keep on loving Jesus. But to love him more than the rules of the church. To put my love for Jesus above, because when you are a pastor's wife, she is saying that you have some rules that you have to abide by. Some what? Yeah, you have to conform with some church expectations of you as a pastor's wife. But she is saying, I love Jesus so much, I want to please him the way he's telling me to please him. Not to just, program myself to do what this denomination wants pastor's wife to just be doing. You are following? Yeah. Okay, so she's saying, I love Jesus more than I love that church. And I love Jesus so much that priority for me is that I am doing what is right in his eyes. It's to stand for the truth. I love the truth more than I love the church structure. Okay? I love righteousness, equity, orderliness, and godly values. She's been listening to me because Dr. Aram sent her to she was listening to Dr. Aram, told him about challenges. She said, go to Pastor Sunday's YouTube, yeah. So she went there and she's been listening so much. So she's saying, I love these things. God's nature, orderliness, equity, more than truth, more than Now, this is where the danger is. More than I even love the family and the husband. I want to please God more than I want to please the husband or his church. But that's the problem in our culture. In our Christian culture, not even Africa. Christian culture is family is number one. You must love family more than God even. But she is trying to say, I love God more than I love the family. Now Christ is come. So I want to obey God more than I want to obey what they are telling me. You have to behave like this. You have to, more than the family. And if you behave like that in church and you are the pastor's wife, the first thing is, all hell breaks loose. And then all the church members are saying, Satan has planted a wife for the pastor that is, demon possessed or something. You see, this is what people don't differentiate between the love for God and religion. So she's saying that is my sin. So because even though I'm pastor's wife, my calling is to help singles. But the church would like her to do, pastor's wife, mother of Israel, and all. Babaji. She wants to go and look for women who have failed, or women who are single mothers, but you don't identify with those kind of former prostitute or prostitute. You are pastor's wife, But she feels that is her calling. Now you are in problem. So she said, it breaks my heart to see many wasting their lives and misplacing their purpose in the church in the name of marriage. She said there are so many people like me who have their calling and who know what they want in life, but because they want to keep the marriage, they want to keep the husband happy, they want to keep to the church rules, they want to keep to what is expected of them, so they remain silent, but they are dying in depression, she's saying. And she said, I was dying in depression because she is one person, nobody understanding her. All the fathers are saying, you are the wife. You are pastor's wife. You understand. So it is when now she said, I got you. I started to watch you on Facebook. Then I said, I'm no more. I am no more. I must be committed to God more than I'm committed to marriage. I must be committed to God more than I'm committed to church. I must be committed to what God is directing me to do, my calling, more than I'm committed to making church leaders happy. So she's saying, this is now the problem, where she really got into problem. She said, I told everybody I would prefer to lose this marriage and even these children, because the husband wants to take them, than not fulfilling the mandate and the calling that God has for me. I don't want to live and die like mere human. I want to please God and make sure that God is happy and make sure that my heart is happy that I obey God, rather than just want to please everybody else, just in the name of marriage or in the name of church. But so when she said, when I discovered you, for many days, what I do, I just come to the office. She has her office and her staff. We just put on something and we just wash you. That's what their own working day. Like because she has found understanding. But really, if those churches and pastors are a little bit more flexible and understanding, I don't see any problem. She wants to do her own thing, let her do it. Just like I was telling somebody yesterday, that if your husband, you are in the ministry, your wife wants to do something else, honor her enough to give her the freedom. Let her do what she wants to do. But if you want to go by the rules that, but you are pastor's wife, you have to do what pastors wife have to do. Do you know that in my own case, Pastor Boss said that you saw, that was preaching to you yesterday, for 4 years, in fact, before we married, she told me, I don't want to be a pastor's wife in the first place. So for 4 years, she would not even do anything. No, not for 10 years. But after 4 years, at least she went to the choir and started singing. Then she started going to the home group. But for 10 years, she never participated actively. She said, I'm married to you, not to the church. And I think she was right. Then I had an encounter where God said, who did I call? Is it you I call or her? I said, me. I said, hey. So why are you, bullying her? Bullying? Okay. Okay. Because I used to wake her up to pray with me, Is it your ministry or is your ministry? Hey, you make you do your prayer now. A lot of religious stuff. Because in my own case, what deceived me was not some religious papas and fathers. My own case was in my own head. Because I had read when I was growing up in Africa, almost in every home you go to, you see some plaque, or is it plaque? Plaque, where they write, the family that prays together. Yes. Have you not seen that one before? Yeah. Yes. I was seeing that in all my life. So I said, so that is a secret. One secret. General secret. So since I was growing up, I already knew that is the secret. To stay together. Okay, now I got it. I have the key. I didn't know that life is more complex than that. Though. So that was what caused me my own crisis. Then when God said I shouldn't wake her up for prayers, then what kind of wife is that? I thought she would be like, another one is the helper. The helper thing. She's supposed to be helper now. How can she be helper? She cannot even pray. So then God told me, that family that prays together and stays together, where is it written? I said, It was later I discovered that, can you believe it? Can you believe it's not in the Bible? That thing is not in the Bible. It's not there. Yeah, it's not there. So I just say, let the guy go sleep, Jerry. If it's my ministry, I go pray for my own ministry. Not being exploitative. Be hoping that somebody, because they agree to marry you, will be doing intercession for you. You they pay them salary. Just some tradition or something. It would have ruined the family. Because I was going to, wake her up to pray and all that. And God told me, do you know when she does her own prayer? You don't know. Do you know how she works with me? Why do you assume she's not praying? Do you know when you are going, you've gone, you are doing your own thing. You don't know what she's doing when you are not around. Why should you be the controller to say she's praying, she's not praying? Is that your problem? Are you the one who saved her? I said, no. So, why are you now the one to monitor if she's praying or she's not praying? It's a personal relationship with God. Anyway, I don't know where I will get into this one, but it could help somebody. It could help somebody. Okay, let's start. No, like this.
A mere mortal bases his decisions.
Make it your voice bigger.
Again. A mere mortal bases his decisions mainly on how he feels at a particular time.
So we got that one right, eh? That one is the one where I took off. Okay.
A mere mortal is always driven by his needs. A mere mortal lives...
that's important. A mere mortal is driven by his needs. So what's the alternative to that? You are supposed to be driven not by your needs, but by what you know to be right. By God's needs. By God's priorities. By God's principles and values. So your values should be what is driving you. Truth should be what is driving you. Your decision should be based on truth, on righteousness, on equity, on God's mindset, on God's opinion. God's position, kingdom mindset, kingdom values and principles should be what should be informing your decisions. So you don't just take decisions because that's what seems right or that's what you think. You should look at the principles of love, kindness, forgiveness to guide you. So we live from heaven down, not from down, what I'm feeling down here. That's how we come from above. You remember we spoke about he that comes from above is above all. When we were talking about victory over Satan. But you have to really live your life as coming from above. So you must embody the principles of above and live with those principles. That's what makes you to reign on earth. Because you are living as he that comes from above, equipped, always taking decisions informed from above. Then you could become above. Okay? So your decision, you are always driven not by your needs like biomasses do, but by your heart, by your value systems, by what you know to be right. Okay?
A mere mortal lives in his problems, soul ties.
So what is the option to that? What is the alternative to that? So if a mere mortal lives in his problems. That's how almost the whole world lives. Everybody lives in their problems. But you should never, you have to take a decision that you will never live in your problems. You solve them, but you saw them detached from them. You know, the goal of problem is to attach themselves to you. The goal and the purpose of problem is to mingle you, entangle you in these problems. So that you move, you are moving in problems. You sleep, you are sleeping in problems. You wake, you are waking with problems. You are entangled. But we are not allowed to be entangled to anything apart from to him. You are not allowed to be attached to anything. So let's say I have this problem with not able to travel out of Ukraine for 9 years, for 10 years almost. And I'm being persecuted and prosecuted wrongly. I didn't do what they accused me of doing. That is a problem. So what does Satan want? That is a real problem there. You are being accused of doing what you didn't do. You are being persecuted for it. I'm prosecuted for it. You are spending money to be in court every day. You are not traveling. Everybody is thinking that maybe he has done it, maybe he didn't do it, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. Those are issues that Satan wants you to be thinking about. Oh, what will happen? How, when, why, anger, who did it, why did... That is being entangled in the problem. When you are thinking about it, when you are living, your reality, you are entangled in it. But the way I am now is that, yes, I have lawsuit. I'm being prosecuted. I'm persecuted. I'm in court. I'm spending money. But I have detached myself from that problem. I could think about it once in a while, maybe once a week, or once in 1 month. Even though I'm going every week. But I'm not entangled. I visit it. I visit the court and go, but the court is not leaving me. I visit the case when I need to go and fix something, but the case doesn't live in me. I don't know. Somebody might say you are reckless. Somebody might say, why? You are not worried. You are not concerned. You are not, what's wrong with you? You say you are not even taking this thing serious. But that is what Satan wants. Every problem that comes, Satan wants you to take you over. You know, I saw a snake sometime from Latin America that wrapped up a human being. A snake, a big snake. It just coiled cobra, big cobra. It coiled the person from head to toe. And the person was just like this. And it was suffocating him. That's exactly the picture. Can you find the picture? Can anybody find the picture? Maybe it's a video or picture. There's very popular. It's everywhere. Anaconda. Yeah, anaconda snake. That's suffocating a human being. So that's exactly what Satan wants. Where is you had a, yeah. Can you come? Yes. I saw the snake taking over the guy and wrapping the person off. That's what Satan does. He's suffocating you. That's any problem. You think of any problem you have. Any major problem you have. That is the goal. Just for you to know. Life is all about entanglement and attachment. I told you before this, I'm bounding. If it didn't get you to do that through marriage, if it didn't get you to do that through children, it will do it through job or through church. Just be bound to something have to bind you. What's abizat in English?
Always.
Compulsorily. By all means, yeah, by all means. You have to be bound by something by all means. If you are not bound, because the only legitimate bonding and attachment, and what do I call the third one?
Bonding, attachment,
entanglement. The only legitimate entanglement is with God. But problems come to challenge that. So even though you have God in your life, you know God, but you will be visiting God once in a while. like I'm visiting court. But you'll be attached like this to problem. But visiting God to ask for help. But what is supposed to be the opposite? You are supposed to be entangled in God and with God. And just visiting your problem. So you must always be detached. So I want you to now think about your most horrible situations, challenges that you are going through right now. Are you sure it's not suffocating you and attaching itself to you? Those challenges, those problems? Learn to live out of them. Let it be there. Just visiting it to resolve it. Think about it once when you need to. But you live in God. You are attached and entangled and born with your Father. But biomasses, they live out of because since you are entangled now, it is the thing that decides how you move. Because you're always thinking about it. Make you find me photo now. So that's what problems come to. So most people, most human beings, they live like that. They live out of their problems. They let their situations dictate. But we don't. We make sure that we are detached. First of all, whenever you have any problem, the first victory you must attain is that you are detached from that problem. Yes. Emotionally and in life. No, you should have some other options as well. There are so many options. The anaconda photograph is human being. Anaconda human being. Look for them. Or video even. Show the thing now. Okay, you come back. Okay, don't worry. Thank you. So, but normal human beings, they live from that perspective of, they don't even notice it. So in their mind, they are entangled. They're always thinking about that thing. So wake up and they, in my place, they say people are worrying. Because that's what they always, but that's the aim of Satan. And that's the purpose of problems. Now, if you are thinking about solutions, not being dependent on that thing, not worrying, because if it's a solution you are thinking about, you are not worrying. And you are emotionally not damaged. You are not wrecked. You are rather productively thinking of solutions like research, and you are thinking, but you are not troubled. Then you are not entangled because it's not suffocating you. But when it's suffocating you, you will be worried. You will always be troubled. You will always, be concerned. But not thinking about it in the sense that it's forcing you, it's dictating you, that problem. But when you are thinking about it like just to find solution, that is different. It's because it's not the one, you are the one in charge. You are the one on top of it. Or maybe it's too complex, what I'm trying to say. Huh? Yeah. So when Jesus was now saying, do not worry about problems, about what to eat, what to drink, that's what he's trying to say. Don't let problems, because it knows that problems come to try to take a hold of you. And when you worry about it, it means that you are not in charge. You are not on top. That problem now suffocating is now determining. It's now taking charge of you. It's taking over. Like that snake takes over. You find it? You can't find any other picture? Me, I go find it now. Okay, show us the one you found. Yeah, these are the kind. Sometimes it's worse than this. Sometimes it's many times over than this. I've seen much more complex than this one. That's what happens. Or maybe cobra or anaconda, I've seen the darker skin snake, doing that to somebody. Even they have videos like this.
A mere mortal is not sure. A mere mortal bases his decisions mainly on how he feels at a particular time. A mere mortal is always driven by his needs. A mere mortal lives in his problems and soul ties. A mere mortal is not sure of what awaits him tomorrow.
Okay, you see, why is somebody not sure of what awaits him tomorrow? Because he's not living by heaven's projection. He's living from downstairs. He's not living his life by getting God's ideas, God's vision, God's expectations, God's calling, God's plan for his life. He's not living out of a master plan for his life. He's living from here. That's why you don't see the perspective. There is hopelessness. But the way we are supposed to live is to be a friend of our Father, look into the mind of God, get his understanding concerning you, and live out of that understanding. It will not be perfect, but at least you have an idea of what is waiting for, what you are living for. So that's why people don't know what is waiting for them tomorrow. People are hopeless. But if you are living from the right perspective, the way we have been talking this week, you are living from heaven to the earth rather than from the earth to over there. You don't live a hopeless life of confusion of what is coming up tomorrow. You will have some assurance, and you have some ideas of what awaits you and how your life will be like.
A mere mortal bases his decisions on the principles of expediency.
Okay, what does that mean? What it means, what can I have from it? What is beneficial to me today? What will I get from it? There is a question people always ask. What is in it for me? That is how mere mortals live. If I'm going to be asking what is in it for me, do you know that 30% of all your expenses to be here, I'm paying it? It's not what is in it for me, it's what I can give out of it. If what is in it for me, I will not be doing my daily broadcast. To get this, I'm not talking of the revelation, just the slide is 6 hours. Not to talk about the revelation, the idea, even the writing, no, just the slide. And then 3 hours I'm talking. That's what, 9 hours in a day. And I come every day, sometimes twice a day. What is in it for me? I don't do tithe, I don't do offering. So if you are going to live by what is in it for me, you are a failure among failures. You must live for something greater than you and than what you can have from it. Your life must be greater than what can be measured by physical things that is in there for you. But that is very popular now. I don't know if you people notice. I come across that all the time, that what is in it for me. I think that concept is becoming very popular. People want to know what is in it for them. Well, you are looking as if you never heard about it. I congratulate you. But that has become a philosophy of life for a lot of people. Okay.
In the Bible, the scripture says that.
You read number 4. Or you can't read it, you need glasses? Okay, let me read it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mere mortal.
Mere mortal is not sure of what awaits him tomorrow.
Yeah, but in the scripture, it says,
do not
worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will take care of itself. But I now understand it, based on your explanation.
Okay, how do you understand it? What do you understand?
I understand it because if you're living from the purpose from top, God had already prepared your tomorrow for you.
That's why
so it says, don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, thanks.
No, but what about my question?
Which one?
What is in it for me? That was what you were thinking about.
No, I was thinking about number 4.
Before you took it back to the phone, do people live by that philosophy of what is in it for me?
Yes.
Or you never came across
it? No, they do. I think, first of all, it's greed. Because
is what?
Greed. Because people are always looking out for their own interests. That's what our people do. They don't...
But you see, we who are kingdom citizens must know that it's a base people, lower level people who live like that. Mm-hmm. But I hear it from people from, high on top.
I think there was.
Yeah.
There was.
and pastors too. But if we want to live the great life, we must always see the invisible, which is greater than what could be measured right now, as our benefit and our reward.
Yeah.
So these are the things that mere mortals use to base their decisions on. The mere mortals base their decisions on these things. But let's see what personalities do and what personalities base their decisions on.
Personality. Personality bases his decisions on his value system.
You see? And your value system comes from where?
From God.
God's nature, God's character, God's perspective, God's standards, love, kindness, righteousness, justice, equity, truth. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I remember I was having a meeting with Benita last night, and she was so ecstatic, and she was so real, and she was saying, Pastor Sunday, you are so real, and because she was seeing the kingdom. Benita, take that microphone. How was our meeting yesterday, and why were you so excited? Tell them. Let's share your experience with them.
Okay, so when I went to have a one-to-one with Pastor Sunday
might need
yesterday,
to stand up because
I saw a man who was just sitting on his.
That's when we're having one-on-one meeting.
I just saw a man sitting on his sofa, just relaxing. You can really see that the person that you see here is the same person that you see out there, and I don't know. It's like he's like a friend. It's like you know him, even though it's my first time to meet him. It's like family, so I could really relate. And what I learned about him is that he's got a listening ear. He listens to you. So when you explain, you share your excitement, your experiences, he really takes time to listen. He doesn't interrupt you. And when you finish saying what you have to say, then he will give you a bit of advice. You want to find out a bit about you. So you can see that there's like a relationship. And I think that's what God is speaking to us, is the relationship thing. And I can see that yesterday I was a bit surprised because you don't really see these qualities in men of God, in pastors, in humans. And with what he's achieved for years, he's not putting a status of being a personality like in front of him. He's just humbling himself and just putting himself at the same level as all of us. So it's really weird. I don't know how to explain. It's got like, it's selfless. It's like he doesn't live for himself. He just lives for the people, for God, and his love. When you're surrounded by him, when you share what you go through, as I said, he just listens. And he's just like relaxed. Like he's going through so much in life right now. And he's just normal.
What word were you using last night?
I say you're just relaxing.
No,
you're chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I say you are chilling. It's like, it's got so much things going on, and he was just like so cool, so relaxed, so down to earth. And I think it's a quality. I even said to him, this is one of the qualities I would like to develop even more, to be able to relate to people that you don't know, people that you meet for the first time, to be able to have that people person, that people factor. And I think we should all aspire to have these qualities. And also when I was sharing a bit of my experiences, and he really wanted to, like, as I say, it was like a conversation, like a father and a daughter, like just exchanging, and there was no rush, there was no pressure. Like, some men of God, when you speak to them, you can't really fully like express yourself. You can't be yourself. Like, that's why he said that I was so real, because he made me feel comfortable. I wasn't like, okay, it's 10 minutes now, you've got to go, because it's like, it really takes his time for people, and I think it's a great quality.
See, so what does that mean? Real personalities will not allow their clout to overcloud the values systems of God that is in them. You know, we are carriers of God. We are revealers of God. You know, and then you will not allow also formalities, religious expectations. Oh, you have to be, I am the GO, so I'm the bishop, so you have to behave. So a lot of formalities, a lot of things that have gone out of order. But real personality should really focus on that inner quality, that quality of God, always guiding and informing their actions and decisions rather than all this other stuff. And I think that's what you saw. That's the kingdom. Letting the kingdom be above you, be above your feelings and your thoughts or religiosity or popularity, greatness, achievement. Something must be bigger, which is the nature of God, the value system of God. You know, the nature of God must be above your achievement, above your success, above your position, above your, your status, above those inner invisible qualities must be bigger through you and in you. I don't know if you people have tried to follow what I'm trying to say. People might think you are weak, but at least you are truthful.
Just Christ-like.
You are just Christ-like. You are corresponding with the truth. And you are being truthful to yourself and to the one you are imaging. But then sometimes you might be under the temptation of what people might think. And they were trying to put Jesus under that pressure, because when the lady came to put oil on, the people started murmuring. They started saying, if he was a prophet, he would not allow that lady to touch him. But he said, I don't care. So he would not allow that fear of public opinion to change his essence. He tolerated the lady, gave her a listening ear, allowed her to feel welcome. Oh, wow. A lot of stuff that we need to overcome. Today, I don't know any Jew, including myself, that will allow a lady to come and do that in the public eye. Jesus was tough. So I'm still learning. Jesus was tough. You have to be tough-skinned too. You have to be tough. And then all the disciples lie on his bosom. Jesus was tough. He doesn't care what people are thinking. But you know what? I'm trying to be like him. And I think we should all try to. Put the nature of God over and above anybody's suspicion or talk or... Yeah. I think we should just be like God. That's the only way it will work. And that's the only thing that will really make the kingdom come at the end of the day. It is his standard and it is his requirements that will work. Yeah? Thank you. Yeah, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I want to just two things. One is a testimony, and one is my meeting with Pastor yesterday. When I went to meet him, my iPad had discharged, so I came to pick it up. And so, because I got something I wanted to discuss, and I couldn't see the list. And I had gone in before, and I came out, it wasn't there. So when I went in the second time, I just saw someone, because I expected to see Pastor Sunday with suit as he left here sitting on a chair. And so as I
official meeting.
Yes. So with the whole expectation, I saw someone from the chair. So I thought it was that lady's husband.
So you just passed by?
Yeah, so I was just passing to go and sit and wait for Pastor Sunday. So someone stretched and I said, let me just greet him and sit and wait for Pastor. So when I greeted, it was Pastor Sunday. So,
Oh my goodness.
He thought it was just a human being.
I thought it was. So my God in my hand. I said, my God.
It was after you had held my hand.
Someone so simple on a simple dress on the chair. I didn't know what to say. I lost control. So I just had to put myself back together. So that's the simplicity. And I'm so happy for God getting me connected to him. The second testimony, I've been looking for opportunity to say it, but it has not been available. So I just want to say it. About 2 years ago, my wife went through an operation, and like 4 months later, she started having some issues. And the issue she had was pains inside inside her body, pains in her bones.
After the operation.
The operation. So it was like that was a side effect, maybe because of the, I don't know how they call it.
Complexities of the operation.
Operation. So she's been having it for the past 1.5 years or thereabout. And Germany, we've gone through a lot of checks and tests and specialists. They could not find anything. So, and because of these pains, my wife can't walk for 10 minutes. Like walking. If she walks for 10 minutes, she can have pains the whole day. And it has been so disturbing. And I've been praying, we prayed and bound and loosed. Nothing happened. So I just left it. Sometimes I couldn't just pray anymore. So we just kept doing what we were doing, focusing on what we were doing. 4 weeks ago, as Pastor Sunday was ministering on a live broadcast, she mentioned that there's someone that's having pains from the back and inside the bones and all that. So he mentioned that we should lay hands and receive the healing. So I just looked at her. She looked at me. I just laid hand on her. We laid hand together and we prayed.
Give the thing to your girlfriend there.
And we prayed. And the night passed. The pain began to reduce. Even though it did not stop immediately, the pain got reduced and reduced. I tell you, for the past 4 weeks, my wife has not experienced that pain anymore. She walks to the city, she comes back, she can go anywhere, just trekking, no pain, nothing till today. So that's the testimony I wanted to give.
And you say, people say it's because Pastor Sunday doesn't do miracle. That is, but it's not about making a show. For me, in ministry, the easiest thing to do are miracles. And that's an answer to your question. That this is a real miracle without all the noise and the attention and calling people and doing. Because when you carry the nature of God, you cannot but not be a miracle. But then that's not you doing it. So, but people are making a big deal out of that, and all their stories about miracle. But miracle is God doing it. But what I want you to do is to make somebody who is nobody somebody. To change people's mindset. That is the real work. The one of miracle is you didn't do anything for that. You just prayed. God did it. But to change people's mindset is your work. Let's see how many people you will now change. That is the real testimony. That's the real work, hard work. But people are taking glory for what God is doing and building their ministry around that. Building their name and reputation around what God is doing. So they are taking the credit instead of him. They are stealing his glory, his credit, everything, and exploiting people to it. That's what people do. All those people emphasizing miracles, healing all the time. I am just quiet. Yeah. Let's go. Start again. Personality now.
Personality, bases his decisions on his value system. Personality is driven by his goals. Personality is not attached to things or people. Personality is entangled into his vision of the future. A personality bases his decisions on the principles of pragmatism.
Okay, now, so we discussed this. Value system informs all the decisions of a personality. Then, what does it mean that personality is driven by its goals? Personality lives from the future to the present. So, and that's coming from Romans 1:19 or 18:19. It says, the just shall live by faith. 17. The just shall live by faith. What is faith? Faith is the ability to see into the future and to live by things that are not yet visible, the things that have not yet been accomplished. The just shall live by faith, which means that if you are just, if you are right before God, if you are righteous before God, you will live not by the things you have already accomplished and done. You will live by the dreams that you are seeing in the heart and the mind of God, things that you are seeing in the future, and you are working to bring it to pass. That is what is exciting you. That is what is driving you to bring. You are seeing a new picture. You are seeing the picture of a new city. You are seeing the destiny of children. You are seeing those mothers. You are seeing that country. So that is the invisible that you are seeing. That the power of bringing it to pass, accomplishing it. All those children that you are going to save. All those people that are going to. That is the future. Bringing the invisible to the physical, that is the driving force of personalities. They are not micromanaging what has already been accomplished. They are not just going to work and coming back home. Going to work. That is death process. Because you already know what to do. You just going to work and come back home. Going to work. I mean, waking up in the morning and just, sleeping. Going by, you are living by reality, by what is obtainable already. That is the process of death. You are not living, you are surviving, you are making a living. And that is death process. You are dying. But living is living by something that has not yet been accomplished, something invisible. And because you are seeing something invisible, and that effort to be accomplishing it and creating it and building it to make it visible, and that's what makes that's what makes you to work. That's what makes you to labor. That's what makes you to do everything you are. That is living. That's real living. So it's not for salary. You don't live for salary. You live for creating something from the invisible world. And you are working hard, not by 8 hours job or 7 hour or 12-hour job. The intensity is dictated by what you are seeing. The hours are dictated by how often, how fast you want to accomplish and bring to pass and establish the thing that you are seeing, that nobody else is seeing. You are creating it so that everybody else will see it. You are living for it. You are forming. You are looking for ways and processes to make it happen. You are building structures for it. You are building systems for it. You are bringing to. That is life. Life is not just in going to the shop and coming back and going to work and coming back. That is animal. That's what Satan wants you to do. That's what Satan wants you to believe is life. And that's what people call comfort. But that is your death process. Because when everything is already known, you are dead. You have come to the end of yourself. But when you are seeing something that has not yet been brought into reality, you are living, because you are living in the future. Even though you break that invisibility into goals, into plans, into sketches, into projects, into business plans, into drawings and diagrams, into working, making things. So that is why we say a personality lives for its goals. It lives for the invisible goal that is still out there, that is working every day tirelessly to bring it to manifestation. I don't know if that's clear enough. So people will say you are crazy for leaving the United Kingdom and wanting to go back to Africa without money. But you are seeing vision. But you are seeing future. But you are seeing the invisible. That is the wealth. All other things are only the process. You are seeing the greatest wealth. Because what you have in the United Kingdom now is already built houses, built streets, built structures, built infrastructures, built social services. Everything is already functioning. So you are just there. You are just there. But you are seeing something that has not been built yet. But you are seeing in your mind, you are seeing in your papers, you are seeing in your statistics, in your figures, and you are going to bring it to pass. That is living. So when you now leave what is already and established, and people are saying you've lost your mind, they have lost their mind. They have lost their mind. So life is defined by living by driven and living for the future, for your goals. Now this next one is personality is not attached to things or people. I've already talked about attachment. The whole life is about attachment. Life is trying to attach you to something. Remember that. And these things I'm talking to you about, you might go to 100 and 1,001 conferences. You might never hear them. Unless those people you are going to listen to have listened to me before. Life is about attachment. And everything is trying to attach itself to you. That's why God is against idol worshiping. Oh. Because idol worshiping is something that has attached itself to you. Or you have attached yourself to. So it blocks you from seeing God. You can't see God because you are attached to this thing. And the only attachment legitimate is with Him. So anything you attach yourself to becomes your idol. That's why God is against idol worship. And idol worshiping is number one reason why people go to hell. And the greatest idol people attach themselves to is self and mammon. Comfort. Self, mammon. So, but you see, personalities don't attach themselves to things on this earth. They attach themselves to things from heaven. Because God is invisible. They attach themselves to God. And His goals and purposes. Is that not beautiful? Yes. It's not attached. It's not entangled into. It's entangled into His vision and future, you see. That's God. Because future and vision is God, invisible. God is invisible. That's where it comes from. Basis is decisions on principles and pragmatism. He wants to bring that thing to pass. That is what is driving him. That's why the pragmatism comes from. It's not self-profit. It's not like this one. Expediency and that what will benefit me? What can I have? What does it? No, he's not living by that. He's living by pragmatism of bringing that vision. That thing must be accomplished. I must get that thing established. See, it's different from pragmatism. It's different from what is in it for me. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Next. A mere mortal puts the needs of others and his family at the center of their lives. A mere mortal, first of all, considers his welfare and safety. A mere mortal embraces the comfortable lifestyle.
You see, a mere mortal, the ordinary human being, biomasses, they put the needs of himself, their own personal needs, and their family. That's what they live for. For me, can you believe it? I'm sure you believe it. For me right now, that's very strange that somebody is living for him and for himself and the family. For me, that I don't know if there are people living like that still, but I guess they must be there somewhere. And I guess it's probably the majority of people in life living like that. Me and my family. But that is such a mundane life. That is such an empty, such lack of perspective, lack of future lifestyle. That I've even forgotten that people live like that. Because people who live around me here, if anybody you see around me here, they don't live like that long time ago. Just for me and myself and my family, what do you mean? No. We live for greater purposes, for things higher than us, for things greater than us, for other people, for the world, for Christ, for His aims, goals. So, but, mere mortals live like that, then, first of all, a mere mortal will first of all consider his welfare and safety before he does what is right. Yeah. Is it safe for me? Is it safe for me? Will it benefit me? What will I be losing or I'll be gaining? But for a kingdom person, even if I'm losing, but I'm doing what is according to the values of the Father. You see. Embraces the comfortable lifestyle. He wants to live in comfort. There are some people in this world that their goal in life is to be comfortable. I used to be like that. I thought that was the purpose of life, to be comfortable. To get to school, get a good job, and create comfort around you. And that is the essence of. In fact, I used to think that wealth and riches, that rich people, is for them to live comfortably. It is later on when I grew up that I started knowing that comfort and comfortable lifestyle is never the goal. In fact, comfort and comfortable lifestyle is the beginning of your death. You begin to die once you get into that realm. For example, when I was poor and in university, I never had a car. I was always walking and taking public transport. I never bothered about losing weight or dieting. I never knew that there was something called dieting. Because I was poor, you see. But when I got comfortable, so much crisis, I have to myself begin to diet. Diet means run away from food. But when I was poor, when it was not enough to eat, you see, I never thought it was a blessing. I always thought that it was only when I was poor. I thought it was only people who are professional sports people who go to gym. Until I bought a car. I didn't know that my poverty was my greatest blessing at that point. So all those people in Nigeria who think they are poor and that is bad, let them get comfortable. When they get obesity and sugar diabetes, they will discover that poverty has its advantages. Now they don't have to bother about obesity or sugar diabetes. In Nigeria, if you go there, all of them are looking straight, lean, no excess luggage. But by the time you come here, you are in trouble. So, but you see, comfort, that what I'm saying is that comfort shouldn't be the motivating factor for life. No. Personalities.
A personality puts the care and welfare of the community over and above his individual needs.
Say, doesn't live for himself.
A personality risks his life and comfort to prove a point of conscience.
You see, because living from the spirit realm, from the heart, value system. So he puts he even loses his comfort.
A personality is always disturbed by injustice, lawlessness, and the collapse of truth around him.
That's his primary his concern. Amazing. Now, let's go back to the previous page. And now I want you to now read the one against the other.
A mere mortal bases his decisions mainly on how he feels at a particular time. A personality bases decisions on his value system. A mere mortal
That's comparison now. Okay.
A mere mortal is always driven by his needs. A personality is driven by his goals. A mere mortal lives in his problems and soul ties. A personality is not attached to things or people. A mere mortal is not sure of what awaits him tomorrow. A personality is entangled into his vision of the future. A mere mortal bases his decisions on the principles of expediency. A personality bases his decisions on the principles of pragmatism.
Okay, go ahead.
A mere mortal puts the needs of himself and his family at the center of their lives. A personality puts the care and welfare of the community over and above his individual needs. A mere mortal, first of all, considers his welfare and safety. A personality risks his life and comfort to prove a point of conscience. A mere mortal embraces the comfortable lifestyle. A personality is always disturbed by injustice, lawlessness, and the collapse of truth around him.
So we are finishing right now. Thank you. I think I will change this thing now.
You normally change anyway.
It's